Okay, so welcome to the class of next topic. Next topic will be discuss is the graph. Whatever is written here, chapter 7, but it will be in chapter 9. This mismatch is because of the edition of the book. As you are following the latest edition, that is the chapter 9. The topic is graph, so we will discuss regarding the graph. What is basically a graph? At first we understand that according to the mathematics, normal mathematics, not the discrete mathematics, according to our everyday math or normal mathematics, we understand that graph means a plot or chart of the numerical data using some coordinate system. Coordinate system means there is an x-axis, there is an y-axis, then we place some kind of numerical data on that coordinated system. That is basically the graph or chart. But according to the discrete mathematics, graph means is a bit different because it is a kind of a discrete structure, okay, and it's represents a kind of relationship between this kind of a wavy look. Wave means some kind of net, fishnet looks, and this type of graphical representation is basically known as the graph according to the discrete mathematics. So this is basically a basic difference between the graph in the discrete mathematics and general mathematics. But what we would like to represent according to the graph. Normally, a simple graph is a function g equal to v comma e, where v is a non-empty set of vertex. V represent the vertex v, which is a non-empty set, and e is called the edge, which is basically the joining line or straight line between the two vertex or two nodes. Already we discussed this type of graph in our previous chapter in the relation diagram, but normally a simple graph will be a function of two elements. One is vertex and another one is edge. Vertex means the node and edge means the connection between the vertex or the node. So do you understand about the graph? What is graph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, it's an example of a simple graph where black dots are called the node or vertex. Basically in here, the dots or nodes or vertex represents the state name of the United States or city name of the United States, like the San Francisco, Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, some other nodes. And the connection between the San Francisco and Denver node is called the edge. So this line, straight lines, black color lines is called the edge, and the black dots are called the vertex or node. So by seeing this simple graph, can you tell me how many nodes are there or how many vertex are there and how many edge are there?
7 nodes.
7
7 node. And how many edge?
8.
8.
Okay. So I hope do you understand what is basically vertex or node and what is the edge. So black dots are node or vertex, 1, 2, 3, 7 nodes, and the black lines there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I hope there are 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 lines, we call 9 edges, and 3 black dots denoted as the 3 vertex or the node. So this is the simple graph. So in here, the set of vertex, V are the black dots, the name of the cities, and the edge is the line. It means San Francisco and Los Angeles. It means that there is a line between the San Francisco and Los Angeles, then San Francisco and Denver. This is how the edge is represented. That means two nodes, by the comma, it means that these two nodes are connected by a straight line. That is called the edge. So you can find from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vertex, and 1 second bracket is one vertex, one edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 7 elements are there in a set of vertex, and there are 9 elements are there in a set of edge. So this set is represented by V, and edge set is represented by E. So the graph is basically a function which is represented by the node or vertex V and by the edge E. So I hope you have the clear idea regarding the graph. Do you understand about the graph? According to the discrete
Yes, sir.
mathematics. Okay. Then next topic is the non-simple graph. First, we understand about the simple graph. Now we are going to discuss about the non-simple graph. That means there some complexity will arise or some extra feature will arise. So see, a non-simple graph example is known as the multi-graph. Previous one was the simple graph, just normal graph. But in a multi-graph, we can say that it is also a graph which has a function of G and input of V and E. That means this graph has also some vertex and the edges, node and the edges. But there is a condition that two or more edges may connected the same pair of vertex. That means one pair of node or one pair of vertex can have more than one connecting line or more than one edges. That is called the multi-graph. So in the simple graph, there must be only one line between the two nodes. In multi-graph, there may be more than one line, two or more between the two vertexes or two nodes. Is it clear? Multi-graph and simple graph. বুঝতে পেরেছো?
জি স্যার।
সিম্পল গ্রাফে দুইটা নোড বা দুইটা ভার্টেক্সের মাঝখানে একটা মাত্র লাইন থাকবে, there will be one edge. But in multi-graph, দুইটা নোড বা দুইটা ভার্টেক্সের মধ্যে একাধিক লাইন বা more than 2-3 লাইন বা এজ থাকতে পারে, এটাকে বলা হচ্ছে multi-graph. See, this is the example of the multi-graph. So between Los Angeles and Denver, there are two possible routes, 1 and 2. And then between Denver and Chicago, there are 3 routes. Chicago to New York, there are 2. Washington to New York, 2 routes. So there are multiple edges are connected between the two vertices or two nodes. That's why this type of graph is called the multi-graph. Clear? Multi-graph. Multi-graph clear?
Yes.
Okay. And multiple edge.
Yes, sir.
What is okay? Next is the multiple edge. What is multiple edge? Multiple edge basically the two edges which are multiple or parallel, and the main point is that these two edges or two lines are connected with the same two nodes. For example, in between Denver and Chicago, there are 3 lines are there. They are multiple, and as well as we can say they are parallel to this line. So we can say there are multiple edges between Denver and Chicago. মানে ডেনভার এবং শিকাগোর মাঝখানে দেখো একাধিক লাইন আছে, এই লাইনগুলো প্যারালালও হতে পারে, সেই জন্য এটাকে বলা হচ্ছে মাল্টিপল এজেস। এবং এই মাল্টিপল এজগুলা স্টার্টিং এবং ফিনিশিং বোথ আর কানেক্টেড ইন এ সেম পয়েন্ট। মানে তিনটা লাইন একটা পয়েন্টে কানেক্টেড থাকবে স্টার্টিং এ, ফিনিশিং আবার আরেকটা পয়েন্টে সেম পয়েন্টেই কানেক্টিং থাকবে। So these two vertex are connected with the same parallel 3 lines. These 3 lines are called the multiple edges. Another type of non-simple graph is known as the pseudograph. It is also kind of non-simple graph, which is also consist of node and edge, but problem is that in addition an edge may connect a vertex to itself. এই কথাটার মানে কি? Who can understand? In addition an edge may connect a vertex to itself. What does it mean? I discussed this thing in the last class. An edge may connect a vertex to itself. What does it mean?
loop ki
Yes, loop. So multigraph, you can see in the multigraph, is there any loop in this figure? Is there any loop?
Yes, sir.
No loop.
10
Where
by
you
6 optical.
where did you find the loop?
Sorry, sir.
A loop is the only edge that is starting and finishing point will be the same for the node. That means San Francisco থেকে শুরু হয়ে ঘুরে আবার সান ফ্রান্সিসকোতে শেষ হবে, অন্য কোনো নোডের সাথে কানেকশন হবে না। So loop is only one edge that is connected with only a single node, not multiple node. In here we do not have any loop. That's why it is called the multigraph. But the condition of the multigraph is same. Additionally, we can add a loop. That type of graph is known as the pseudograph. So this is the example of the pseudograph. It is the loop. San Francisco loop, Los Angeles loop, Denver loop. You can find there are several loops. And also there are some multiple edges. So a graph who have both loop and the multiple edges, that is called the pseudograph. Is it clear? বুঝতে পারছো?
Ji, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you understand, can you tell me what is the difference between a pseudograph and multigraph? What is the difference between a pseudograph and multigraph?
Sir, loop থাকে pseudograph.
Yes, only difference is the loop. In the pseudograph is allowed for the loop, but in the multigraph, you are not allowed to place any kind of loop. This kind of loop, San Francisco, Denver, Detroit, Chicago, this type of loop, you are not allowed to use in the multigraph. But in the pseudograph, you can use the loop. Now, can you tell me what is the difference between the pseudograph and a simple graph?
So loop vertices.
In a simple graph, you are not allowed to use loop as well as multiple edges. Simple graph এ loop use করা যাবে না, দুইটা নোডের মাঝখানে একাধিক লাইন ইউজ করা যাবে না, একটা লাইনই থাকবে। So in the simple graph, it is not allowed to use any loop as well as multiple edges between the nodes. But in the pseudograph, you can use the loop as well as you can use the multiple edges. This is the difference between the pseudograph and simple graph. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one is the loop. I think you have understood what is loop. An edge is called the loop when it connects a vertex to itself. That means Denver is connected with Denver. San Francisco is connected with San Francisco. So this edge is called a loop when it connects to its vertex. So you can see that start with the simple graph. Then from the simple graph, you get the multigraph, and from the multigraph, you will get the pseudograph. So these are the examples of the undirected graph. What type of graph? Undirected graph. Generally, in this chapter, we will learn two type of graph, directed and undirected. In the last class lecture, you learned the directed graph. That is the directed graph. Okay, but now we are going to in detail that we will read. There are two types of graph. One is called directed graph, another one is the undirected graph. So we are starting with the undirected graph. Undirected means the edges, the connecting lines between the nodes, they have no direction. That means you cannot say that I start from the Denver, ends with Chicago, or we start from Chicago, ends with Denver. We cannot say like this. Just we can say there is a connection between the Denver and Chicago, but we cannot say which one is the starting point, which one is the finishing point, because there is no direction is mentioned in here. So that's why this type of graph is known as the undirected graph. And there are three types of undirected graph: simple graph, multigraph, and pseudograph. Is it clear to you all?
Yes,
তাহলে
sir.
গ্রাফ দুই প্রকার, ডিরেক্টেড, আনডিরেক্টেড। লাস্ট ক্লাসে যেটা দেখছো সেটা হচ্ছে ডিরেক্টেড গ্রাফের এক্সাম্পল, যেখানে এজ গুলোতে এরো চিহ্ন দেওয়া ছিল, কিন্তু এখানে আমার কোনো এরো চিহ্ন দেয়া নাই। সো যার ফলে আমি কোনটা থেকে শুরু কোনটায় শেষ সেটা বলতে পারবো না, এজন্য এটাকে বলা হচ্ছে আনডিরেক্টেড গ্রাফ। এই আনডিরেক্টেড গ্রাফ হচ্ছে আবার তিন প্রকার, একটা হচ্ছে সিম্পল গ্রাফ, একটা মাল্টিগ্রাফ, আর একটা হচ্ছে সুডোগ্রাফ। বুঝতে পারছো সবাই?
जी सर।
Yes, sir.
Now we are going to discuss about the directed graph. So what is basically a directed graph? What is the difference between the directed and undirected graph?
Sir, this one have direction, but another one have no direction.
No direction. So what do you mean by direction?
From starting point to end point.
Yes, you have a starting point and you have a finishing point. Then when you are going to write the edge, definitely you need to write the starting point first, then you need to write the finishing point. It means that edges are ordered pair. What is the ordered pair? The starting should place at first, then finishing point you should place at last. You need to mention the edges according to the ordered pair. That is called the directed graph. So in the directed graph, it is also a function g of vertex and edge, where edge are written in a ordered pair. Okay, let us see. Now you can see the direction is given in this graph, so we can say it is a directed graph. Okay, so how can you write the edge of this line? How can we write?
San Francisco to Denver.
Can we write Denver, San Francisco?
No, San Francisco to Denver.
Why?
Because the arrow, you see the arrow.
Yes, according to the arrow, this line is originated from the San Francisco and it is going
Yes.
to terminate in the Denver. So you
Yes.
need to write the starting point first and then you need to write the finishing point. So
Finishing point,
this
yeah.
order you need to maintain. So that's why it is called the ordered pair of vertex. If you write the ordered pair of vertex, then it is called the directed graph, and you need to follow this type of order.
Yes.
Okay, so I hope you understand the directed graph. Now next topic is the directed multigraph. What is directed multigraph? What can you understand by this? What is directed multigraph?
স্যার ডিরেকশন দেওয়া থাকবে কিন্তু মাল্টিগ্রাফ হবে।
It is exactly the same as the multigraph you already covered in the undirected graph. So what was the definition in the multigraph, in that undirected graph?
মাল্টিপল ভার্টিসেস থাকবে, আর এই ক্ষেত্রে মাল্টিপল ভার্টিসেস এর ডিরেকশন দেওয়া থাকবে।
Right, this is the difference between these two. In the undirected graph, there will be the multiple edges between two nodes, but there will be no direction. But in the directed multigraph, you have multiple edges between the two nodes, but there must be given the direction. Okay, that is the directed multigraph. See from here that San Francisco to Los Angeles, there are two parallel lines are there. Los Angeles to Denver, two lines are there. So there are multiple edges, and these lines are given some kind of directions. So that's why it is called directed multigraph. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, can you tell me how many types of graph are there?
Mainly two types, directed and undirected. Undirected অনেকগুলো।
Okay, then undirected, how many types?
Simple graph, multiple graph, graph.
Three types.
Pseudograph, pseudograph. Simple, undirected, and pseudo.
Yes.
Okay. And directed graph?
Single and multiple maybe.
Yes, directed simple graph and directed multigraph. These are the basically these are the types of graph we have learned. Okay. Now, what can you see? What are you seeing? I have shared my screen. What can you see now?
দেখা যাচ্ছে স্যার
কি দেখা যাচ্ছে?
গ্রাফ স্যার গ্রাফ স্যার
Can you see the graph?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you see number 3?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me number 3, what type of graph it is? Question number 3, what type of graph it is?
Undirected simple graph.
Yes, undirected simple graph. Question number 4,
Undirected multiple.
undirected multiple graph. Question number 5,
Pseudograph.
pseudograph. Question number 6,
Undirected multiple.
question number 7,
Directed multiple.
8,
The directed pseudo and multiple.
directed এর মধ্যে দুইটাই আছে শুধু সিম্পল আর মাল্টিপল, ডিরেক্টেড এর মধ্যে শুধু নাই। Then question number 9,
Directed multiple.
Directed multiple.
okay. Now you need to tell me from the graph 9 how many nodes are there and what are the vertex? How many nodes are there?
6 node.
6.
6 nodes.
Okay. Then how many edges?
11 vertices or edges.
How to write? How to write edges?
A arrow B, I guess.
Mhm.
11.
We need to write like this. This is the edge 1. It means this line. Then this line. Then starting point come first, then terminating point. Can you see what I'm written in the screen?
Yes, sir.
So this is F comma A. Then
F comma F.
BC. Then I'm writing BC.
স্যার একটা নোড ফিনিশ করে দেন আরেকটা নোডে যাইতে হবে না? এখানে তো
হ্যাঁ।
এফ টু এফ শুধু আছে একটা, এটা লিখতে হবে
লিখি
না?
নেই, সমস্যা নেই, আগে পরে হলেও সমস্যা নেই। Total number of edge will remain same. Okay, C to D. লুপেরটা আমি লাস্টে লিখতে চাচ্ছি, আগের গুলো শেষ করে নি। C to D, this line. Then D to E, comma E to D.
স্যার ডি থেকে ই তো মনে হয় নাই, ই থেকে ডি না স্যার?
স্যার ই থেকে ডি দুইবার আছে স্যার।
ওকে, যাক, তাহলে ঘুমাইতেছে না কেউ? বাকিরা ঘুমাইতেছে?
না স্যার আছে।
না
না
স্যার।
স্যার।
ওকে, ই থেকে ডি।
স্যার ই থেকে ডি দুইবার দেওয়া থাকলে দুইবারই করব স্যার।
দুইবার।
ওকে স্যার।
They are different ages. And then F, E. Next, how to write the loop?
এফ এফ ডি ডি।
DT. So this is how we can write the loop. Now count how many edges are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Sir,
বাদ পড়ছে কোনটা?
দুইবার আছে না স্যার?
কোনটা?
বি থেকে
sir,
B
B to C
Yes, B to C
2 times.
2 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11. কোনটা বাদ পড়ছে? নাই, ঠিক আছে। There are 11 edges. So you need to write the edges like this. E is equal to, this is the set of edges, and V equal to A, B, C, D, F. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this is how we can calculate the graph, node, then edges. And we have learned about the types of graph. What are the types of graph? Then how to find out the edge, how to find out the vertex, then differentiate between the different graph. Okay. Next topic. So what can you see now? What can you see in the screen?
Graph
terminology.
terminology.
Terminology. Now we are going to learn about some terms regarding the graph. So we have learned about the simple and basic type of graph, and next is we need to learn some important terms which is related in the graphical representation. So these are the terms we basically need to use for the graph. One is adjacent, connect, endpoints, degree, initial, terminal, in degree, out degree. This type of graph basically we need to learn. So we are going to learn these terminologies. First one is the adjacent vertex, or we call it the neighbor. Okay, so what is adjacent vertex or neighbor? Consider there are two vertex or two nodes u and v in an undirected graph. So in an undirected graph, there are two nodes u and v. They will be called as adjacent or neighbor if there is an edge between these two nodes. Do you got my point?
Yes, sir.
For example, it is a node u and there is another node v, and there is an edge connecting between these two nodes. Okay, so we can say that u is the neighbor of v, vice versa we can say v is the neighbor of u. Clear? Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
So this is we call the adjacent vertex or the neighbor. Okay, and next one is the incident of this what is incident with the vertex u and v. So the incident with the vertex u and v, this edge e is known as the incident. This node e, that means edge e, this line is known as the incident, and this line has two endpoints. One is u, another one is v. So this u and v are called the endpoints, and the connection between these two lines is known as the incident. We are discussing regarding the undirected graph. Keep it in your mind, as there is no arrow sign, so we cannot say there is an starting or finishing point. We have only two endpoints u and v, and these 2 points are joined by a undirected graph. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the undirected graph, and we learn about what is adjacent vertex or the neighbor. Then we learn what is incident, and then we learn what is the meaning of the endpoints. Then degree of the vertex. What is the degree of the vertex? The degree of the vertex in an undirected graph is the number of edge incident with it, except that loop at a vertex, it contribute twice the degree of the vertex. তার মানে বিষয়টা কি দাঁড়াচ্ছে? What do you understand by degree of the vertex? Means, for example, a node A, how many lines are connected with it? How many lines are coming in it? How many lines? Two. So the degree
Two
of the
lines.
node, there are two lines you can see. This is one and this is another one. There are two lines. So we can say that the degree is written as like this: DEG. Degree of A, node A, is equal to 2. So it means in any graph, if you need to calculate the degree, you need to consider how many lines are connected with it, except the loop. Always consider the loop degree is 2. The degree of loop is 2. So, can anyone tell me how many degree of the node B?
Three.
Degree of the node
Five.
B. How many degrees of
Four.
node B?
4.
5.
How many?
5, sir.
4.
5?
The loop one also.
No, loop. Always consider the loop. If there is a loop, there is automatically degree will be 2 for a loop. For a loop, the degree is 2.
3.
So, see how many degrees of there? One line. I'm giving different color, so you will understand. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what will be the degree of B? Will be 6. Do you understand how to calculate the degree?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
For the
Yes, sir.
loop, in blindly consider it is 2 for loop. When it is a loop, the degree is 2. Then additionally, it is 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Okay. Now can you tell me what is the degree of node E?
0, sir.
0.
No,
Because there
0.
is no line is connected, so it degree is 0. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So I hope you understand about the degrees. Okay.
yes, sir.
Any confusion regarding degree?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So it is given that degree of node D is 1, node E is 0, node B is 6. We have discussed this thing. Then A, C, F, D. So what will be the degree of A, node A?
It's 2.
Then C,
4.
4.
okay. For node F,
3.
3.
okay. Then G,
4.
3.
okay. So I hope you have cleared regarding the degrees. Okay. Next one is what is the total degree? Total degree means node A has degree 2, then G has 4, F has 3, C has 4, B has 6, D has 1, and E has 0. So total number of degree, if we sum all the nodes degree, we will get the total of degree, that is 20. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many number of edge?
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So do you understand total number of edges? Total number of edges 20 and total number of degree, sorry, total number of age is 10 and total number of degree 20. Okay.
Yes.
So there is an handshaking theorem. What is handshaking theorem? The degree of node, sum of the degree of all nodes will be equal to the twice of the edge. So the sum of the degree, all the vertex equal to the twice is the number of the edge. Do you got my point?
মানে স্যার এজের দ্বিগুণ হবে।
Number of edge এর দ্বিগুণ হবে ওই গ্রাফের total number of degree.
জি স্যার।
So for any graph, the summation of the total number of degree will be twice of the number of edges.
Edge, yeah.
Okay. For example, there are 3 handshake is going on. 3 handshake. Understand very carefully. 3 handshake is going on. How many people are there?
6.
Got my point?
Yeah.
So consider there are 5 handshake is going on. So there will be 10 number of people. That's why it is called the handshaking theorem.
Yeah,
So
twice.
Always twice. So that's why it is called handshaking theorem. So the summation of all the degrees of a graph will be the twice of the edge of the node, edge of the graph. Okay. So do you understand the handshaking theorem? Handshaking theorem is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will read the directed adjacency on our next class. So in this class, we learned about the graph, then types of the graph. If we wrap up our today's lecture, we learned about the graph, what is graph, then directed graph, undirected graph, simple, pseudo graph, multiple graph, then degree, vertex, edge. These are the things we have learned in today's lecture. So do you have any confusion or any question regarding to this discussion? কারো কোনো problem আছে?
নো স্যার।
Okay, if not, I'm just stop the recording.